I do not want to see Ryan Gosling in any action movies again. I'm finally back. I know it's been about 4, 5, maybe even 6 months since I last put out a review. I've just been getting a bit demotivated. I was watching horrible film after horrible film, and I thought I don't want to be one of these guys that's just on YouTube bashing movies. I want to watch something quality. I want to bring quality movies to you guys. So booted up Netflix, thought, okay, come on, let's hope I can find something good, and found The Grey Man. So let's talk about it. The Grey Man has got a cast of quality actors. You've got Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, Billy Bob Thornton, to name a few. And essentially it's about a guy, he's in prison, a CIA operative comes to him, offers him a way out, but he has to be grey. He doesn't exist, he's part of these covert operations. Something goes wrong in one of his missions, so he gets a bounty put on his head by other international assassins. A bounty on his head that set off a global manhunt of assassins. What does that sound like to you? Let's hold that thought. Now this reportedly cost Netflix $200 million. Yes, $200 million, the most they spent on any movie. We're in a cost of living crisis. Netflix are losing millions of subscribers. They're putting up the monthly fees, and they thought this would be a good idea to invest money in? Come on, Netflix. I'm incredibly disappointed. It's directed by the Russo brothers, who pretty much had a hand in the majority of the quality Marvel films in phase 1, was it 2? I can't remember the phases, but essentially it's everything prior to Endgame, because everything after that has just been absolute shit. That's another topic for another video for another day. And based on the films that they've done, like Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, I thought they were quite competent in the way that they shoot action. Not the best, but competent. But I think they've been hanging around with Michael Bay a bit too much, because this was just excess in every sense of the word. Their use of cameras was just over the top. People would just be having a conversation, just dialogue, and the camera's moving around, drone shots, and it's like, I'm looking around, is Godzilla coming? Why is this happening? I don't understand. Typical Michael Bay. If you watched Ambulance recently, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That was actually a good movie, but again, that's a story for another day. And it wasn't just the way the camera that was moving that was over the top. The action was over the top, the acting was over the top. Everything was just excess. I mean, even the amount of locations that it changed was over the top. I think they went to about 30 or 40 different locations within a single movie. It has to win an award for that. I mean, it was going from Prague to Cape Town to Moscow to DC. I couldn't keep up. I don't know if they were just trying to prove that The Grey Man is international, so let's just try and fit in as many scene locations as we can, but I just don't understand. There were a lot of flashbacks as well, which added slight bits of context, but didn't give me any additional reason to care about the characters or really add anything to the story. So again, pointless. Straight away I could sense, okay, this is going to be one of those over the top movies, which is okay in parts, but it just kept getting louder and louder and louder, and each thing that happened just kept getting more and more unbelievable. There was a fight scene on a plane that was just so ridiculous, it ended up being comical. Don't get me started on the CGI of that scene as well. It was horrible. I think where I'd watched Top Gun Maverick within a week of watching this and seeing what they done, I just don't think I'm gonna have the same patience for these sort of action films that use CGI for everything. You can see the difference and you feel the difference going from Top Gun Maverick, where you feel like you're in the cockpit, to this sort of shit where you have no feeling at all. Everything feels fake. Everything looks fake. Two completely different levels. I know there's a time and place for these sort of films, but I think I'm just tired of it now. And it got to a boiling point for me with the scene in Prague where they're having a shootout. Let's just pause for a second. I mentioned something sounded similar earlier. They've literally copied and pasted a scene from John Wick where his bounty's on his head, and then you see everyone's getting a notification, and you see all of these killers and assassins are around him. They literally did the same thing in this film. Come on, like, I know you're struggling for ideas, Hollywood, but please, you don't need to copy something scene for scene. Anyway, the scene was just so silly, I thought it was going to turn into a superhero movie. I just don't understand how they could even justify a sequence like this. It was just flat out nonsense. Now, we all know that Ryan Gosling is one-dimensional. He pretty much just has one emotion, one face throughout all of his films, and it's okay. It works for certain things, but for action, it doesn't. I was not convinced by his performance in the slightest. Now, let's talk about Chris Evans. He's playing the villain in this movie. It was too much. It was over the top. I understand that's what it called for, but it went too far. It literally felt like it should have been in an Austin Powers film. I'm guessing he's trying to get rid of that Captain America good guy image, but this wasn't a choice. Billy Bob, hardly featured. I used to really like him once upon a time. Bandits, I loved him in that. That's one of my favorite one of his movies. Go and check that one out. Here, just wasted. The rest of the cast, wasted. I don't really get it. I just don't get why they cast quality actors in these bit roles, or why these actors are taking it. To be honest, maybe they need the money, cost of living and all that, and that's it. There's not much else to say. Ultimately, Netflix blew the budget on this film trying to relive on the Russo's Marvel glory. But it just goes to show you can't just throw money at a problem. You can't just Michael Bay your way into making a quality action movie. The casting was completely misplaced. You could have literally had a completely different cast of nobodies and you would have got the same result. That is poor. I'd rather Netflix took that $200 million, split it over 6 or 7, maybe 8 different movies, preferably foreign language, because we know they're on a higher level than Hollywood, and produce a better quality output. This was just wasted. I do not want to see Ryan Gosling in any action movies again. 2 stars. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and watch some other videos.